What's up everyone and welcome back to Reload Reacts episode 57. My name is Trey and today we are going to look through r/PettyRevenge, the subreddit for those smaller victories over the people who've wronged them. This first post is by Salad Unlucky 10. My neighbour's dog ruined my sleep, so I used it to ruin his. Every night from midnight to 3 AM, his dog would bark non-stop right outside my bedroom. Deep, loud, echoing barks, like he was announcing the end of the world. I asked my neighbour twice to bring the dog in. Both times he brushed it off with a smirk and said, "He's just doing his job." Cool, then I'll do mine. I started recording the barking on my phone. The next morning at 6 AM, right after my neighbour got home from his night shift, I played it back at full volume through a speaker pointed at his wall. I repeated that for 2 mornings. No yelling, no threats, just his own dog giving him a taste of what I'd been dealing with. On day 3, the dog was inside before 10 PM, hasn't barked at night since. Sometimes the best revenge is pressing play. I think OP thinks he is him, and to that I say, that totally makes sense, he is him. Top comment reads, "Reminds me of my dad. Before digital cameras, he had a lot of SLRs from being a wedding photographer. He got fed up with people who were walking their dogs and letting them S on our lawn without cleaning it up. The house was a corner lot, so lots of foot traffic. Anytime he'd see it start to happen, he'd grab one of his cameras with no film and stand on the porch snapping pretend photos of the activity, not saying a word. The problem stopped almost immediately." Well, that's satisfying, isn't it? To have your plans actually work. This next post is by Initial Afternoon 532. "She always called me just the boyfriend, so I helped her move, quietly. My girlfriend's sister never liked me. Every time we were around family, she'd say stuff like, 'You're just her boyfriend, not family,' or 'Don't get too comfortable.' I let it slide for over a year because I didn't want to start drama. A few months ago, she needed help moving apartments. Nobody else was free, and she asked me. I said sure, showed up early, loaded the truck, and even bought her a coffee. She was kinda shocked. When we finished, she just looked at me and said, 'I didn't think you'd actually show.' I just smiled and said, 'Yeah, I'm just the boyfriend of your sister, remember?' She stared at me for a second and acted guilty. She's been way more respectful since." I agree with this top comment. This is my favourite form of petty revenge. Petty because you can't help but twist the dagger, showing she has been an a-hole to you, but also sticking to your morals and being a good dude and helping out. It's really satisfying to see that OP was able to get revenge by not doing anything wrong, and was actually pretty kind. And yeah, I'm glad it worked out for them and there was no drama after that. This next post is by Current Elderberries. "My neighbour kept parking in my driveway, so I parked behind him and went out of town. Oh no. My neighbour's been parking in my driveway for months. Oh my god. I've asked him not to a bunch of times, but he always goes, 'It's just for a sec,' and shrugs it off. Came home last Friday and yep, there he was again. Only thing was, I was heading out of town for the weekend, so I pulled in behind him, locked up, grabbed my stuff, and left a couple hours later. I had a bunch of missed calls and a text like, 'Dude, WTF,' but I didn't answer it, hoping he had a relaxing weekend to think things through. Tisk." I was going to suggest the same thing as what the top comment says here. Text back, "Hold on, I'll just be a minute." OP said, "Relax, I was only gone a sec." Exactly. Use his words against him, that sounds so fun. This next post is by Dodge Them. "My boss kept scheduling meetings during my lunch, so I started eating lunch in every meeting. That makes sense. Need to eat lunch. Keep getting your lunch interrupted, just eat lunch anyway. I used to take my lunch break at the same time every day, 12 to 1. I don't eat breakfast, just coffee and lots of water. So my lunch is essential and I can't just skip it. My calendar was blocked, but my boss, newly promoted and power tripping, started scheduling meetings right in the middle of it. The first couple times I let it slide, figured maybe it was urgent. But then it became a pattern. I pushed back and reminded him that it was during my break, and he said, "Well, we all have to make sacrifices sometimes." Cool, got it. Just little side note, I hate that saying with a passion, along with "it is what it is." Nails on a chalkboard. Never say that to me. Next meeting, I show up with a full plate of spaghetti and meatballs. Had my camera on and mic unmuted, slurping and chewing, occasionally giving thumbs up while mid-bite. A few days later it repeated, so I brought sticky wings. Last week on Thursday it happened again. Glad I still had my pizza. He finally asked, "Do you have to eat during the meeting?" I smiled and said, "We all have to make sacrifices sometimes." It's Friday today. We didn't have any meetings during my lunch hours this week. Yay! Thanks for making the madness happen. You're all too much, and I mean that in the best way. P.S. If my manager asks why there was smoke and EDM lights in our last meeting, I'm forwarding them this post. You did this. You explain it. I feel like I've missed something there, but that's okay. Top comment reads, "Working during lunch? Does that also mean you can leave early?" OP says, "I am a senior software developer and I work remotely. Thankfully, they still care more about outcomes than the time I spend working. Oh, and I love my work and my team. Aw, that's sweet. After my day job, I do freelance, hunting for new clients and work on my own software service, so my time is pretty tight already, and I usually end up working 11 to 12 hours a day, including weekends. That's why lunch is sacred and essential to my well-being. I don't mix working and eating together. I like to eat in peace, and then focus like heck on my work. It's healthier and more productive this way. I like to do the same thing when I'm eating. No editing, no recording, none of that." This next post is by Main Scallion 2394. My coworker kept stealing my pens, so I started refilling them with glitter ink. I work in this pretty chill office, but for whatever reason, my pens kept missing. No, not like all of the pens, just mine, the ones I actually liked using. I kinda had a feeling who it was, but didn't want to cause drama. Then one day, I saw her using my purple gel pen during a meeting. I said something like, "Hey, I think that's mine." And she just laughed and went, "Oops, lol, I didn't even notice." So I ordered some cheap refillable pens and swapped the ink for glitter gel. They looked normal when you wrote with them, but dried all sparkly and ridiculous. Next meeting, she's writing away and someone goes, "Why does your notebook look like a birthday card?" She just started at it, like it betrayed her soul. My pens haven't gone missing since, no apology or anything, just awkward silence. Honestly, I'll take it. This is why yellow caps on black Sharpies is my go-to. Having worked in an office where Sharpies were as valuable as gold, maybe more so, this is brilliant. I agree, comment section, I love Sharpies. They are always very valuable. The next post is by A Whistle Biscuit. My family is making a homophobic cake decorator make hundreds of pride cakes. This one grocery store in my town offers custom cakes out of their bakery section. Let me be clear, it's not a Walmart. Their only cake decorator is a nasty bee of a woman, with even nastier options about gay people. And she is a real piece of work, let me tell you. One of my siblings, who is LGBT+, works in the store too, and they've been fed up with this lady for a while. Well, a couple days ago, this sibling told my family that for their upcoming birthday, they want us to custom order them a pride-themed cake from the store so that this homophobic woman will have to make a cake that stands for everything she so openly hates. My family is going to do this, but we're doing so much more than that too. One of my other siblings already ordered a pride cake, so that we could all have cake just because. My mother ordered a pride cake to give to our favourite, an openly gay barista at a coffee shop we like. My wife ordered a pride cake just because she loves me and knows I love cake. You see where this is going? I have a lot of siblings. My siblings have families and friends. I have family and friends. And our family and friends have their own share of family and friends, and so on. And because we're not pieces of S, and because in my family we all share a powerful strand of petty DNA, We all are ordering pride cakes. This homophobic cake decorator will be making hundreds of pride cakes this month. And the icing on the pride cake? The cake decorator's manager saw the first cake, the first one my sibling ordered, and loved the concept. The manager figures that they can sell extra cakes this month if they advertise that they can theme them for Pride Month. She's definitely right. So she told the decorator to make one for the display case. Now, all the LGBT+ in town will see it, and this homophobic waste of space will have to make even more pride cakes. Sometimes life is beautiful. It brings me genuine joy to think of this woman spending a month making more cakes than this town orders in a typical year, and all of them themed for Pride. I love that. I love that so much. That's awesome. Top comment reads, well, this makes more sense. For a moment there, I was kind of wondering what a homophobic cake looks like. I actually read it like that the first time too. I had to do a double take. This next post is by Bagel Under Couch. Cab driver rips me to shreds, thinking I can't understand him. But I can. Obligatory, this happened several years ago, a few months after I had moved to Chicago. I had moved there from Romania, where I'd been living and going to school. Love Romania. People are great. Drop what you're doing and visit. Anyway, while I was there, due to my living situation, I had to learn the language fast and thoroughly. Not many people around me spoke English outside of the uni I was at. So fast forward to the few months after I arrived in Chicago, imagine my surprise when the driver of the Uber I had ordered happened to be a Romanian name, or at least appeared to have a Romanian name. This area had a lot of Eastern Europeans, so I guess it shouldn't have been so surprising. I was really excited to talk to him and making sure I wasn't getting rusty. Maybe make a friend. Up pulls the guy, I get in. He greets me, but appears to be on the phone with a buddy/family member, so I just sit quietly in the back, listening in a bit. The person on the other end asks if the driver is getting off work soon. He responded with something like the following: "No, I still have a few hours left, then I'll go home. Right now I have someone in the car. God, I hate this country. The women here are so fat and ugly. At least this one has a nice chest, but why can't she lose some weight?" And he goes on and on about all the problems with me and other American women. Now, I've always been a bit on the chunky side, and you best believe the Romanians love to comment on it, so I was used to it. But I was a bit shocked that this guy was going off like that. Anyway, I'm just kind of sitting bemused in the back seat as we near my destination. Then I tell him in Romanian, with all my might, trying to pull off the distinct accent of the region I'd been living in, "Can you pull over there on the right?" I swear this guy's head did the Exorcist girl head move, and he turned a shade of red I have seen nowhere else in nature. He didn't say anything, just pulled over. When I got out I said thanks and added, "You're not attractive and you're also fat, so maybe you shouldn't make comments like that." I have never again reached such levels of self-pride, and I must say, I felt secondhand pride reading that. Good job, OP. Top comment reads, "I live for this brand of revenge. People shouldn't assume they're safe to talk S just because it's not in English." Yeah. This next post is by Unhappy Ad 4184. I was the only one cleaning the bathroom, so I stopped using it too. I live with 2 roommates, and for some reason, I was always the one cleaning our shared bathroom. Toilet, mirror, sink, drain, all of it. Got sick of it, so I just stopped. Not just cleaning, I also stopped using it. Started showering at the gym, brushing my teeth in the kitchen, and using the bathroom at work or this coffee shop down the street. I work long hours anyway, so it really wasn't that hard to avoid. 2 weeks go by and the place is nasty. Moldy curtain, toothpaste crust, hair everywhere. Finally, one of them goes, "Dude, can you clean the bathroom? It's disgusting." I just said, "Oh, I thought we were taking turns. I haven't even used it." Awkward silence. Then they cleaned it. Now they actually kinda keep up with it. Not perfect, but whatever. At least I don't feel like I need gloves just to pee anymore. Turns out, cleaning a swamp sucks way more when you're the only one stuck in it. The comments say, "Reminds me of a roommate I had that never did his dishes. So we do them to keep the kitchen clean. At one point, the rest of us decided to not do his dishes anymore. Anyway, one day, I finished washing our dishes. The rest of us would take turns. and I told him his dishes were still there and had been there for a couple of days and he needed to do them. The dude had the audacity to ask me how hard it was to just wash 2 more dishes. I answered, hard enough that you don't want to do it either. And with that, our troubles were over. And this person's right, oh my god, that is such a perfect response. Definitely stealing that for future use, lol. This next post is by FJBP95. They suspended me for a misunderstanding, so I took the best much needed vacation at their expense. On a Monday night, I asked my manager if I could have my morning shift covered. He said no worries, the new girl is coming in to train and there will be plenty of servers for the slow lunch rush. Sounded good to me. The next day, the owner, who has the patience of a caffeinated squirrel, messages me asking why I did not show up. I told him exactly what my manager said. He said she is not a real server yet, and the way he saw it, I missed my shift because I did not have another waiter cover for me, so he suspended me for a week. I am their best waiter, never late, always on time, and pulling in the best reviews. Some reviews on Google even have my name in them, but I just said, alright boss, see you in a week. So I did what any overworked employee would do. I slept in, watched movies, played disc golf, and hung out with my friends and girlfriend. It was the most relaxing week I ever had. On Friday night, the owner calls me begging for help. They were so short-handed they were practically using the dishwashers as waiters. He wanted me to come in for Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday morning, all while I was still on suspension. I told him I had not learned my lesson yet and could not possibly come in. When I came back in the next week, everyone was very, very nice to me. They still are. Top comment reads, I have not learned my lesson yet. Effing legend. Even if this post is BS, it's brilliant. Best comeback line I've seen on Reddit. Yeah, that was really funny. I actually laughed really loudly at that one. That was good. I enjoyed that. This next post is by a deleted user. Boss chiseled me out of $100 and paid the price. I'm a contractor. While working on a project in a very remote location, I arranged to buy and bring 2 rounds of breakfast tacos for the staff of the county facility where I'd be working for the next week in exchange for free copy privileges. The boss gave approval on the phone and the total for the tacos that week came out to just over $100. A great exchange, as the copy budget was upwards of $1,000. My receipts, along with a supporting CC statement I submitted at the end of the billing cycle, between a week and 2 weeks after he'd verbally approved the expense, was declined. I wasn't too angry, but a deal's a deal and I called the boss to remind him he'd approved the expense. His response, you should have gotten it in writing. Peed me off royally, but I finished the project as promised and was working on another project for another client less than a week later. A couple months go by, and a boss who chiseled me out of the money called to see if I was available to work on another project, beginning on the 1st of the next month, and after some haggling, I agreed. The work schedule would be tight, and in his words, this was an all-hands-on-deck project with nights and weekends expected. I was also told this was a new client and they wanted to impress. A couple of days before the project was set to begin, the chiseler called to tell me the engagement paperwork was on the way and checked my email. I told him I had decided not to work the project after all, and he was furious. He screamed, I mean screamed, you agreed to work on this project weeks ago. I repeated his words verbatim. You should have gotten it in writing. Wow. OP, whoever you are, you know what you're doing. This next post is by Literature Strong 2716. Driver paid tolls in pennies. I made them wait while I counted. I was working for the toll authority before they got rid of them for the ES Pass. This guy comes through with a toll of about $5. He raised his cupped hands up towards me, full of pennies and nickels. Once I took them, he said, here you go, enjoy counting, while laughing to himself. So I told him, enjoy waiting right there until I'm done counting, otherwise I'll call the state troopers to bring you back. He pouted the entire time while I stacked pennies and accidentally knocked them over, having to start again a couple times. He was over by 20 cents. I gave it back to him and said, here's your change, aren't you glad you waited? Smiley face. Edit. For those worried about the people behind this guy, it was a slow day. No one was waiting but him. Top comment reads, "Aren't you glad you waited is the kind of thing you usually think about after and kick yourself for not getting to use it. Well played." OP said, "I had time to think while counting, lol." And anyway guys, I think that's gonna be it. I hope you enjoyed the stories in r/PettyRevenge. Let me know what you'd like to listen to in the comment section below, and also hit that subscribe button with your right thumb because I post new Reddit content every single day. There are 2 videos on the screen, one of which is for the most recent video, and another is for a video the YouTube algorithm thinks you'll want to watch next. My name's Trey, this was Reload Reacts, and I will see you in the next video.